I still have my phone up. So, welcome to episode 2 of After the Shoot podcast. I'm here with
Tamryn, TNT.
And we just got done shooting. We had a quick shoot. It was fast, it was easy, and we're just gonna get right into it. So, my first question that I'm gonna ask you is, what has your experience been like, modeling?
Modeling overall?
Overall, yeah.
Modeling overall, I think it's really cool. It's been a good experience of me being able to put myself out there as art and be able to connect with different people that understand art in that way. And it grows your confidence overall. So yeah.
Okay. So I'm not trying to get too into like all the modeling questions, because on the first episode I asked a lot of modeling questions. So okay. I want to get into a subject that you talk about a lot and that you're more into. So as far as like, when it comes to like, creativity, and I would say like your sign, because you're real big into like zodiac and stuff like that and different signs. How do you think do you think creativity is relative to like what sign you are, what you do, or anything like that?
I think it can be contributed to that. That was a good question, because there are more signs that everybody has different elements within them. And like you said, I'm an Aquarius. So I'm more of an air sign. So I look at things more mental, more go with the flow. And I try to cultivate an art that flows with the people. Whereas if I was an earth sign, that's more stable, more grounded, they're gonna look at things more concrete. They might want things to be more of an earthy type of vibe, or just something that's gonna give you more of a concrete perspective on things instead of being so widespread. And then you've got your emotional signs, which are gonna be your Cancer, your Scorpio, and your Pisces. And they're gonna be the ones that kind of give you this sensual type of energy when coming into art, this emotional type of connection with art. And that's really cool, because you need emotion to really be able to cultivate and see the bigger picture, and connect with people in that way. So you always need that water energy. So yeah, all different elements. So I definitely say that they all have their own unique set of ideas when coming into the photography room.
Okay, so this is a personal question. So I feel like when it comes to like zodiac signs and stuff like that, you get a lot of people who like, I don't know, like it's almost like they use it as an excuse. You see it a lot of time. People will be like, this sign is so toxic, or this sign, like you can immediately meet somebody and they'd be like, oh, that's your sign? I don't even want to mess with you like that. Like I can't even talk to you. Do you think, what do you think about that trait from people? Like people just automatically like off the bat assuming like because this person is this sign, that they know you and that they know your tendencies and that they know how you're going to act, and they just assume you're toxic.
Yeah, so I love that question too, because I look at astrology in a way of perspective and not necessarily perception. And so I think when it comes to us trying to discover more of ourselves, when people get into astrology, they want to take it way more personal, and they take it personal. And I feel like when it comes into conversations about, oh, you're this and you're that, it's too personalized. Astrology is meant to be a way of figuring out that person, in a way of innocence, in a way of unconditionality, right? And not in a way of trying to pinpoint that person and figure them out so you can put them in a box, and I think that's what people are missing when it comes to astrology, is that it's not personal whatsoever. And I think when we take our own insecurities, or our own experiences, maybe not insecurities, but experiences out of the astrology, when it comes to other people, there's a different connection that happens within that. So I feel like that's so much better, than being like, oh girl, that one Scorpio, toxic. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, then that's when people kind of get a grudge or feel like, no, I reject that. And really it's just another way of figuring yourself out and gaining more knowledge about the world and how it connects to you. It doesn't have to be so interpersonal and taking offense.
I feel like people use it very personal. Like they'll be like, oh, they'll date like one person who's a certain sign, and for the remainder of their days, they'll be like, that sign,
I know. And it's
that
funny.
sign right there. Man, and I feel like it's so like people like just assume like they know you. Like with me, it's like I'm a Leo. So it's like everybody, every time they meet me, they're like, and they'll use it against you. They'll be like, oh, you're full of yourself. Like you walk in the room like you want to be seen and this and that. And maybe it's true. I don't know. Maybe it is the truth.
I love that.
I don't know if it is the truth. But I mean, it could be a part of the truth. Like, yeah, of course, everybody wants to be seen a little bit. Everybody wants to be noticed. Yeah.
You know, you're the sun. You're ruled by the sun. Sun is your most dominant planet. So, like, my sun is ruled by Aquarius. You're ruled by Leo, and you're exalted because you're ruled by Leo. So, naturally, you're going to step into a room and you're going to shine. And there's going to be people that naturally don't have that energy. And it's not about necessarily rejecting that energy, but it's about understanding that person and letting them be that person and embracing that perspective. And I feel like that's the beauty in life. Like Leo's like, yes, you guys, you're the sun. Sorry, you guys are going to shine. And it's usually not purposeful. Like, but we need that. We need that type of energy, you know? Everybody has their place. Like, I love to look at it that way, but it's so funny because people definitely talk about like Leos, Scorpios. I feel like Leo, Scorpio, and
Scorpios are the worst. I don't know. Scorpios get a bad rep, man. Like every time I see somebody, anything that has to do with a Scorpio, people be like, I want nothing to do with them. Like, dang, what does Scorpios do to people? Like, what are you Scorpios out there doing to people? I just want to know, like.
No,
Man.
It's so funny because Scorpios literally, they have so much passion and so much fight. They're ruled by Mars, just like Aries. So Aries is going to be the one that wants to be extroverted and kind of get to know people because they're ruled by the head a little bit. But Scorpio is going to be more of like the soul passion, right? It's going to hit you in places that might be uncomfortable, but Scorpios are transformative signs. So they've gone through a lot of that. And so they want to give you that passion because they want you to meet them there. And I don't know, I think that's so cool, especially in art. Like you need that type of emotion, you know?
Right.
You need that passion. So I love when I meet a Scorpio in this field.
Yeah, I feel like people, like you said earlier, people just, you know, people will meet a sign and they'll make it like so personal to the fact that they kind of like because they see negative traits in that person, they kind of like cancel out the positive in that person. So even in the creative field, like I don't think people understand that like, oh, this person is a Leo. Like when they're doing something, maybe they're not just full of themselves, maybe they're just confident, you know, they're just confident in what they do, you know, and you can look at it like one way or you could look at it another, you know, like would you want to be in a room with somebody who looks like they don't know what they're doing, or do you want to be in a room with someone who's like,
so true,
I got this, like I got it down, because that's the person that you're going to grow from at the end of the day, you know, seeing somebody act like that and seeing somebody so confident in themselves, like you can look at it like, ugh, or you could be like, you know what, like I like that, like maybe I need to get more like that, maybe I need to start feeling myself more. It's just how you take it, you know, that's
exactly how you take it. And it's funny because you said there's two different sides, and it really is. There's two different ways of looking at it, you know. You need that duality. You need that other perspective. And I think we're trying to like play both roles. It just won't work. You need those other people to kind of find a better you. So people are necessary. People that have different theories and different ideas are necessary. And sometimes it could be the most least expected perspective or energy that walks into a room, but embrace that because you're in that room as well, you know, and that says just as much as them walking in. And that's so important. That's so important when it comes to connection.
So this is my question to you. So if you're dealing with somebody who's, let's just say you're dealing with a creative, because, you know, being in the creative field, no matter what it is, it can be stressful. You know, it's hard sometimes, you know, especially for people who sometimes are not feeling themselves or they're not feeling their best or inspired or anything. If you were to run into somebody who, you know, is going through something like that, where they're uninspired, they're not feeling themselves, they're not really into the craft as much in that moment, what's the advice that you'll give to them? Because I know you're real big on energy. You're real big on like feeling yourself and stuff like that. What is just the advice you'd give to them?
You know, I would say that confidence comes from inside. So, you know, find your story, find your inner self, go to that innocent childlike self that had that unconditional perspective in the world and see what your purpose is. That's going to be your purpose, that more unconditional self, and see how you can portray that through the camera, you know, because that's what's going to be seen and that's what people want to connect to. Because energy is so important. And when you don't have that right energy when you walk in, not only are you not going to be perceived the right way, but you're also not going to feel confident. So
I agree 100%. I think you gotta dig into your inner child sometimes. You gotta dig into your, just that energy. Cause even like me, like I had an experience the other day where it's like, you don't really understand like how connected you are to like places.
Right.
And like, I went to high school in a suburb called Plainfield, and I was just like, it was a real good time for me. Like I loved high school. I know most people say they hate high school, but I love high school. But like,
that's awesome.
But I was driving through like the neighborhood because like I just started going to a gym over there, and like it just like just even driving through like that town just made me feel like nostalgic.
Yes.
Like, and it made me feel like a different energy. Like it kind of brought me back to those days, and that's another thing. Like I feel like that's like a connection to a place, just like you can have a connection to a person, or you can have a connection to a thing or a feeling, that was just like nostalgic to me. And that's kind of the vibe I get when you're telling me how connected you are to energy and how you can be connected to like, certain things,
Yeah.
So.
No, that's so cool. And I feel like that's really what's needed, for people to experience and have their own experiences, have their own perspectives, and really put that on a platform. Like right now, we are living in an era where you're able to cultivate your emotions and find who you are through those experiences and put it on a platform for other people to reflect and to understand. And that's literally the most beautiful thing in the world, because that's how we can connect, and that's what life is about. So yeah.
Okay. So do you have any questions for me? That's the question.
Any questions for you? Ooh, okay.
Putting you on the spot now.
Okay, any questions for you? Yes. What is your experience like shooting with me? I know we've had not too many, but a couple, and what would you say your experience is like?
I love shooting with you. I feel like you're very like, you're open to direction. You're open to like, obviously trying new things. I feel like you want to get things like right. Like you want to be, you want to make sure that you're getting it done the right way. And I respect that, because some people are real sloppy. They really don't care too much, but I feel like you're real connected to the art, you're real connected to what you're doing in that moment. And I can't help but like respect it. You know what I mean? Like art is free to me. Like I'm not real like big on like perfection, but I'm real big on feeling like I'm working with somebody who wants to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes you're working with people who either one, they feel like they deserve to be there and they could just do whatever they want and it could just work out however, or you end up dealing with people who, who really want to be in that moment, who want to create in that moment, who want to make something that they value, that the other person on the other end of the camera values. And I feel like that's the type of energy that you bring. So I love it.
Thank you. Yes.
Of course.
That was awesome. I'm like, do I have any other questions? If you could describe me in 3 words, what would it be? As what you know of me, because
I'd say zodiac. You always talk about zodiac.
Okay.
I don't know if that's like describing you.
No, don't have to be too detailed.
I would say positive. You're very positive. You always have really good energy. And I would just say, let me think. I would say confident too. I feel like you're very confident. I feel like you're very, very like in tune with yourself.
Yes,
so, yeah.
Thank you. Well, I don't have anything else.
Of course.
To say.
Is that it?
Awesome. Yeah.
Is that it? All right, then we're good.
Thank you.
That's it. Of course. It was nice having you as always. And tune in. We're going to post this to YouTube. We're going to have it, up and running. I'm still getting into this. I'm still running and gunning. It's just my 2nd episode. So I appreciate you guys and peace out.
Bye.